person.
All right, let's look at a tweet here by the majority leader in the Senate, Kipchumba Murkomen, who Dismas has said has been very quiet alongside his National Assembly counterpart in Duale in doing any meaningful work for Kenyans in Parliament. So he tweeted yesterday and said, "Handshake is the worst political fraud ever witnessed in this country. It's being used as a scheme to fight one individual together with its charade called Fight Against Corruption. It's a shame." This is a very Kipchumba hard-hitting statement from your namesake. What do you take from that?
I will try to get the thinking that maybe Murkomen, from where he's coming from, he hasn't appreciated the much the purported handshake has brought on the table. But I have always said on this show and elsewhere, Ben, as a person, I believe on the strict black rule of law. You cannot for a moment suspend the rule of law and bring in other discussions. We cannot allow two gentlemen to define the happiness of a nation. The happiness of the nation is decided or is defined by the heartbeat of the people. And that is defined by the kind of institutions the people give themselves. Look at what we have done after the handshake. We have one-party legislature where it is just a chorus. I have always called it an organized political rally, but it is now a chorus. And what we have done with that chorus is that most of the oversight things have gone undetected, or most of the crucial things that ought to have been given a second thought haven't been given, because what is happening is that people are competing to catch the eye of the president and the former prime minister. Look at it this way. I expected that after the handshake, although I disagreed with the legal aspects of the handshake,
right,
I expected that after that handshake, we will sort the issues like the two-third gender rule. It will have been easier to pass it. We haven't achieved that. It will have been easier now because we have consonance in issues like IBC to sort it once and for all. And secondly, it will also have been easier to sort the economy. Our economy, Ben, is bleeding. Walk around this country, we only talk about the debt that we have to international people, but what about the young men and women who have contracted a classroom, a toilet in a school,
is that
haven't been paid?
Is that as a result of the handshake? Or you're saying the handshake
has
could have
not
done
looked
more?
at these things. It could have done more.
Okay.
The other thing that I refuse to just board the bus the handshake is, as a person, is when you bring something that is of national importance. Yes, every idea must begin with somebody who proposes the idea. But after the idea has been hatched, it must now go out there. When the handshake was hatched, it is supposed to have now permeated into the society, and it helps us so that the real Wanjiku, the real Mwaniki in Runyenjes and Mora in Kisi can understand what is handshake. Because
but there's a series of...
so the handshake is not working from where you sit.
It remains a mysterious thing.
Okay.
What we ought to see is for the handshake to go past the two leaders. Within the two leaders, it is working. But past the two leaders, we need now to go and make sure that the handshake has been explained.
Okay.
Most people, and this one you must give it to Raila Odinga, it will seem like the ODM side understand what the handshake is, and they even understand what they need from the handshake. But you have seen most of the parliamentarians from Jubilee saying that we need a parliamentary group to understand this thing. The other thing that the handshake also...
So you're saying, we'll come back to you. Let's get in views.
Let me just finish my last point. This also is the first anniversary we are marking after Jubilee hit the first iceberg. I think it was the handshake was the first iceberg. Whether it will stand the temptations and the waves after that iceberg, we are here to see.
So the handshake is an iceberg for Jubilee.
Yeah, actually it was the first iceberg after the whole thing.
All right. So what Kipchumba is saying, Mark, is what a lot of political leaders in this country have been saying, that this handshake has been working for two leaders, but not for the rest of the country. The latest one being Aisha Jumwa, who is being hounded out of the Orange Party, saying that there's no handshake past Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta.
Well, let's be clear. Aisha Jumwa is claiming the benefits of a handshake while doing something that the handshake did not guarantee. Raila Odinga himself has said that he does not support the candidature of any Jubilee president in 2022. So let's be clear. The handshake was never about, there was a document. It was never about moving alliances to say that if today there was another election, that Raila Odinga would support Uhuru Kenyatta. That has never been the issue of the handshake. And this is the problem. The kind of fraud that these political leaders are exhibiting to the public is illegal. Let's start here. When you say the handshake has failed, it has failed how? You understand? It has failed how? When you say it does not have the support of Kenyans, who am I? An alien? Am I from Mars? Am I not a Kenyan? Don't I support the handshake? When you say Kenyans don't understand the handshake, don't I understand it? Didn't I read that document? Doesn't it have a 9-point agenda which is clear? Is it, on what basis is this saying?
Mysterious to you?
It is not mysterious. There is no mystery about it because it is clear. And this is the thing. The claim has been that the handshake is being used to frame certain people on the cases against corruption. That's a real claim. Now let's look at what it takes to frame. For me to frame you, I have to make sure that I make it appear like you did the crime, then call the police so that you are jailed for the crime, correct? So question, who ordered towels? Was it Raila Odinga? When the tiles were being delivered to the Rift Kerio Valley Authority, was it Uhuru Kenyatta who delivered? When the tender was being signed in a funny way in Italy, was it Raila Odinga
right,
who
so
was
what
signing?
a group of
So
Rift
you
Valley
cannot
leaders
then
are
say
saying,
that I participated, and then because it has been found, now I'm being framed.
Let me ask you
Ben, we are trivializing the issue of handshake because when, of course, as usual, Bichachi will want to take a handshake to the ivory tower, we want to bring it back to reality. That handshake is supposed to operate here. What we are trying to say is this, Ben. We expected that after, when the handshake came into place, we will sort IBC because our problems have always been domiciled
Kipchumba,
in IBC.
I allowed you to finish.
No. Wait a minute.
I allowed you to finish.
Two,
Can I finish my statement?
Fighting corruption, the handshake did not bring IBC, EACC, the handshake did not bring DPP, the handshake did not bring DCI. Those institutions have been there.
All right,
These
but
institutions
let me
are
ask you this as you finish.
because of law.
As you finish,
it means,
Mark,
then
what leaders, yesterday, what leaders from, a section of leaders from Rift Valley were saying is that, look, this thing is, has been weaponized against William Ruto, and not just his political ambitions, also against the people of Rift Valley, saying that this will demonize the region and deny them development projects.
But you see, this is again, and I keep telling people that we are being defrauded as a people. Let's start here. NYS was caught in the biggest scam of last year, correct? Is NYS closed? Okay, the fight against corruption has never closed a single project. In fact, that same fight is what will make sure
so they don't have
those dams are delivered.
All right,
so
Mark,
you cannot say that when you fight corruption, you're stopping a project. Right. How is saying, please account for these towels, stopping a project? Isn't that what we are supposed to do to make sure a project is correctly done? And then are you also trying to tell us that the only way projects can be done in Rift Valley is through corruption? So that now every time we fight corruption, there will be no projects in Rift Valley. That is nonsense.
Yes, boss.